Hello, g'day to my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5 a.m. Club. It's Wednesday, hump day, and a bit of clouds come over the city. It's lunchtime, and as you can see, there's quite a few people about. It's school holidays, so as I said the other day, Sydney is slowly getting its mojo back together, or should I say the CBD part of the city, because the rest of the metropolitan area has been doing quite well over the past few months, I'd say. What I want to do today is just continue a book summary that I started yesterday, and I covered off a few points. But there's one extra point that came from this book that I didn't get a chance to include yesterday because I was running short of time. And the book that I was talking about and stepping through yesterday was called Loving What Is by Byron Katie. And Byron Katie is a female author who covered off some lovely points in that book. But there's also one more point that I want to touch on and talk about and dwell on, because it's a real interesting one and a powerful one indeed. And I guess I'm just trying to figure out how to address this. But I guess the best way to address it is head on, because what the author here talks about is something that a lot of us face on a daily basis but don't really get to do much about it. And the point that she makes here is that being frustrated about reality doesn't really change anything. So the best advice that comes from the author, and I guess the best advice that we get from our parents and everybody else, is just stop it. Stop the complaining. Because people just seem to complain and think that the complaining is going to get them somewhere. But it's a real mood killer. It really just destroys. It destroys a spirit, it destroys a family, destroys all the joy that you could possibly ever get in life. And whingers, people who whinge and whine, are the ones that cause a lot of heartache, not only to others but also to themselves. And the author gives a really interesting point here where it says that if you're with anybody who complains about the weather, just, we're put on notice that if you're with people or anybody in your social circle who's always complaining about the weather, it's a really interesting thing to touch on, because the weather is something that you simply can't control. And if somebody is complaining or whinging about the weather, then chances are that they will be complaining and whinging about anything and everything. So the point here is that if you're a whinger, if you're a weather whinger, then just stop it. If you're with people who just whinge about the weather, just nip it in the bud and tell them to stop it, because it adds absolutely no value. Complaining adds zero value, and as I said before, what it does do is it's a mood killer, and it leads to further whinging and further complaining, and you get into a cycle of whinging and complaining, which impacts, as I said before, not only you but all those around you. And the real crux of the point which comes from the author is the following. She said that whinging and complaining has zero value, because most people, including our parents, our partners, our children, everybody in our lives has no interest, absolutely no interest in our whinging, because most people don't care about your problems. It's pure and simple. And the quicker you learn it, the quicker you realise it, the more liberated you're going to be. The only people who worry about your problems are the people who are going to get money from you. The only people who are interested in your problems are your mechanic, your lawyer, your accountant, your doctor, all of these people who are going to get financially rewarded by paying attention to your problems. So what the author is suggesting here is that use your whinging or use your announcements of problems wisely. Only tell people who are going to be able to help you about your problems, and usually, as we said before, they're the ones who are going to be also charging you for looking after your problems. So the best advice from this book, from this author, is we all need to redirect our energy, redirect our focus so that we can be happy, and not to spend too much time whinging, whining and complaining, because nobody cares. Nobody cares, and it's not going to change the weather, it's not going to change the things that you can't control, and all it's going to do is make you a pain in the ass for the people around you. And I guess that's where I'll leave it for today. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5 a.m. Club, where we just did one more extra point. We took one more extra point from this wonderful book, which was entitled Loving What Is by Byron Katie. And let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay reasonable, stay relevant. And when I say stay reasonable, I mean stay reasonable. Don't expect people to go out of their way to help you, because your problems are your problems. Your problems are the ones that you need to solve, and to engage only those people who are capable of helping you, but only those people who can help you with problems that are within your control or their control. If they're outside of your control and outside of their control, don't bother engaging people with your problems, because you're just going to limit your social circle, and you're going to get people who are just going to get sick and tired of hearing you whinging time and time again. Anyway, let's finish up, and I hope we gain something out of that. I think sometimes we need to call a spade, and to make things a little bit obvious, because we sometimes forget that we are responsible and we are accountable for our own problems for most of the time. And once you decide to take action, once you decide to take responsibility and accountability, then that's the day, that's the moment where your life changes for the better, because at least you know that you're going to be trying to do something to solve your challenges, rather than roping in every other person around you who has no interest and probably no ability to help your cause. So I look forward to coming to you again later in the day with another book summary, another version of Jim's 5 a.m. Club. So thanks for joining me, and I hope that we can be the wind beneath our wings, where we can live, learn and pass it on, and hopefully become bigger, better, more effective and more efficient and more beautiful versions of ourselves. Yasas, Vilakia, and bye for now.